Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the meeting of the Stamford Planning Commission. If there are matters to discuss that is not clear on the agenda, you may do so by addressing the chairperson and stating your address. Please go around and say who's at the meeting for the recording.
To what?
Say your name for attending.
I'm in it next.
Say your name for the
Sheila Marks.
Alden Finney. Jim Simpson.
Marta Miller, Lisa Graham,
David Shelton.
and visitors. If you want to say your names for the recording. Diane Salvo. Lori Shepherd. And Jed Bramlett. Okay, so hearing of visitors. I was going to write to you guys to make sure you were okay. I didn't see you the last few meetings. Thank you. Okay, has everyone had a chance to read the minutes and any changes?
We're going to read them, they've probably been changed.
The minutes have been changed? Don't do that to me.
You wrote it.
Yeah.
Motion to accept?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, I was reading.
Okay, we can move this paper now. So we have worked on the version of the signed by law. We're apparently still not in agreement on it, but I think it's time that the board discusses it.
So is it okay to talk now?
Yes.
All right. Everybody want a copy? This is what we're working on? Oh, it's so important. This is important stuff, right? I mean, this could change our life in Stamford, as we know it. So, all good stuff.
Okay, so I just want to talk about, I guess, the numbering system, just randomly, something to talk about here. It looks a little cumbersome, especially when we get to 7.16.2.d, but I'm following the same outline and format, thank you, of the town, that the bylaws already are in. So.
We have a pretty good thing here, as we had some issues in the past about signs. Everybody knows about it. I'm not going to bring it up. It's over, it's done with. But the commission as a whole tasked us to go away and rewrite the bylaws. And so what we did was we accumulated some bylaws from other communities like-minded, close to our area. And we basically hijacked a lot of their stuff, which after speaking with a couple of them from the other communities, it's exactly the way they received their stuff. So we all know, our board's pretty experienced here. And Sheila and Dave and Aldi, they've been around here for quite a while and they know what's going on. They know all about the sign stuff. So what we did was we tried to simplify the one little tiny sentence in our current bylaws, and we got some details out of it and put it where it should be.
What paper is that? I can see that one.
It's
It's
the
I
signs
just
on the
handed it.
top?
I think I handed it to you, Sheila. It's got numbers on it. Front page, first word is sign, underline.
716.
Thanks, Dad. Oh, that one.
I knew I handed it to you. So basically what we did, I'm gonna let Lisa explain the rest as far as where we came up with numbers and stuff. I think you did.
I did. So it follows, we decided to make the sign bylaw its own standalone because it didn't really fit under the, it seemed redundant to put it under each section. And so we just followed what it was the general town bylaws, which is 7.10, 7.16 follows 7.15 in the bylaws. And subdivisions, again, are just the format that the town's already using. It felt a little cumbersome, but I went with it.
I agree with what she did. At first, there was quite. First of all, let me say that Mara and I and Lisa, we met 4 different times. We came up with over 3 or 4 hours at a time. So we've got some hours into this, and we've got some thought and some back and forth emails. So it's been a lot of work, and I think we've got it nailed down.
It might be good if, you know, the other members of the board, and I guess, you know, we could get these.
For everybody's on there before we
You know,
leave.
maybe we can send this out just by email to the other members who aren't here, you know, to take a look and see if it seems, you know, our goal was to make it as clear and as simple and as understandable and not mistakable as possible. So
We
that was
eliminated the
goal.
word permitted as opposed to permitted, because that's really confusing, we felt. So if
Yeah.
it's permitted, it's allowed, so we just changed the word permitted to allowed when it meant that, instead of permitted meaning you need a permit, because that was just kind of making us crazy, and I think it led to a lot of confusion in the town.
It may have been part of the Ryan Rush Booth, like, misunderstanding if something was permitted. If something's permitted, you can do it. But if something needs a permit, it has to be permitted. And then it's not allowed unless you have a permit. So that may have, you know, something as simple and dumb as, you know, it's like eat, shoots, and leaves, whatever that joke is about koalas, and commas. I'll get back to you with the joke, but yeah.
16.1.a, no sign shall be permitted in any district except for the purpose of identifying an existing on-premise use. Can you explain that? Like, does that mean town office, school, library for a sign in front of our building, or church in front of, like,
Which
is that
one was
what
that
you're
again?
trying to
Right,
say?
First
Right,
one.
what it is used for.
Yeah, as opposed to an advertising for something that isn't there.
So just describing use
Yeah.
of the building, okay.
So certain ones can just do it and other ones can't? Is that kind of what I'm getting the impression?
What do you mean, Sheila?
Well, it sounds like, you know, certain things could be put up without a permit or anything, which is a little different than what we have now.
Well, the things that can be put up are under exempt signs, if that helps. Those are the things that don't need a permit.
Let me just make a quick comment here. We get this information together and we put it in a order in which we thought. It worked out pretty good, our little ad hoc board here, because I'm a little versed on legal language. She's a lot versed on English, period. So, and it's different, as we all know. So
Polar opposites, which was a good thing to put us together on a thing to work on it.
the thing is
You're
that,
helping a teacher, and it's totally
and
different.
as some of you guys know, especially Dave probably knows this from his business and everything else, it's when you're reading rules and regulations, there's no in between. You're looking for language that is succinct, you know, it's obvious, and then you can't be, well, maybe, or, you know, something like that. And so we fought back and forth. We didn't fight. It was a good,
We discussed.
we discussed it. And then she went home and wrote it her way.
Because she was right.
What's to stop somebody from putting up 4 16-square-foot signs?
You're limited to 2, first of all, in here.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
And
I saw 64.
yeah, just,
So the 64, you gotta read the whole thing, and understand the fact that each it's like the town and municipality is under a whole new chapter and section now. It falls under the state Title 10, where it always has, except for our old bylaws may or may not have indicated one way or the other. And it was basically believed to be, for instance, the sign out front, I'm going to throw it in there. It fell under the 50-foot setback, which wasn't right anyways, but we're not going there. The whole thing is that we're trying to make it to where everybody will understand the right and wrong. So the AO can give somebody a permit and not have to say, well, maybe I'll let you have it, but this is not right.
If you look this over and think of anything that we didn't include, by all means, bring it
Yeah, I
up.
see a couple things I'm not sure because I don't know if I have it all.
It's 2 pages, yeah.
I got one. Oh, it's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Saving paper.
as I read this, I don't see a whole lot that's changed. That's basically from the state, but what you don't have here is how are you dealing with the state highway and scenic highway?
Okay, well,
It's important because
Right.
they're really, I read it, I should have probably.
So the scenic part of it, if you read under the Title 10, it all is in there as far as, we refer, state and municipality, we refer to Title 10. We are, as a town, the state and the municipal buildings here within the town are allowed to do whatever Chapter 10 allows them to do. Okay, that's where you get the 64 square foot, which that number can change. We can change that number.
right.
We
I
can't-
just put that in because that's what the state allowed, and I
Right.
figured if we as a board want to amend that.
So you're saying the state allows on a state highway that's designated scenic,
couldn't
64
find
square?
anything on that.
I did. So,
I need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
let me, I'm sorry I didn't bring it in, I just assumed that you were gonna have it. So really, it's all open for discussion, but the
Yeah.
bottom line is, the problem, and it's really not a problem, we get funding from the federal government and the state on state highways. There's no room for error,
Right, right.
and that's all I'm saying right here, and I don't see anything pressing.
I could not find anything that limited the signs on the scenic. I need that. I need to
Oh,
see
boy,
that.
not only do they limit it, they discourage it. On scenic highway, but there's not a lot of scenic highways in Vermont. We have 1 or 4, so it's just important. I don't disagree with anything that's here. All I'm saying is that we have Route 8 and 100.
Right, so maybe.
It's the longest scenic highway in Vermont, and it was the
Send me a
first
link
scenic
to that,
highway.
or bring it in, Dave, so that I can do
Yeah,
that.
I'll give it for you. I'm
So
sorry I didn't.
this is actually gonna help that, Dave, to be honest with you. If you think about it, now we have our control over our town. And even if the scenic part of it is within that 50-foot range, right? So anywhere on Route 100 all the way through, there's signs all over the place all the way through. But you're right, there is some regulations as far as scenic, but it's for the highway department to decide what they can do or not. And it's under Title 10. If you go in there and look at
Oh,
all the new stuff.
I've read the whole thing, and
Right.
I know, that's why I said I don't have any problem with this, because
Right.
it's what
This
it
is
said.
gonna be much better than what we had. We had no protection whatsoever.
It, the only issue that I'm trying to bring forth is that any town highway that's designated scenic, we have the right to change. But it was repealed. Actually, somebody put in a thing for town highways that we could repeal a scenic highway.
What do you mean by town highway?
Take it off.
If it's a state highway, is it also a town highway in your thinking? What are you referring to then?
If this town decides that Lincoln Road is a scenic highway, and we get special funding from the state, because it has something like, it has a view, or something unusual, the town can designate it as a scenic highway and get that funding. we have no control over the federal government and state of Vermont in terms of the scenic highway and the funding. So they have very strict laws. All I'm saying is that we should have them as part of this. That's all. And so, because I would guess that if you wanted to put up a 64 square foot sign out here, they talk about playgrounds. You gotta be 1,000 feet from playground. So I mean, there's a lot to this, and I just, I'll be more than glad to bring it in, and we can decide.
It's not set in stone by any means, so.
No.
Whatever you can bring to it is fantastic.
That's all. I'm not
Yeah.
disputing anything you're saying here. I just want to make sure that.
We're just trying to get something
Right.
to work with.
Absolutely.
So,
What I'm saying.
am I reading it right that the town could have a sign as big as 64 square feet, but everybody else, any other business use is limited to 16?
Correct. I mean, the 64, again, that's just what the state says, and we were basing it just on the state. Now, as a town, we can make that less than 64 if we deem that's pretty big.
I'm trying to imagine in my head how big 64
Where do you
is.
say
That's
that's
big.
8 by 8?
Two pieces of plywood, basically.
It's
Well,
huge.
stacked on
It's
top of
really
each other.
big, like
It's huge.
huge. That's,
I feel like we should make it less.
It's 8 times 8 by 8.
I feel like we need to, I feel like we should make it less, but we left it there because
I'm
that
not
was,
ready to learn multiplication.
That would start with what the state says, and then we can rein it in as a town.
yeah.
You guys have to understand something, that this is the state. So Lori, as the town clerk, and Dave, by law, are technically supposed to have signs on the building saying, this is the town office. That's the maintenance office, the highway department, okay, the library. All of these buildings are supposed to be marked so that the public can see it.
Yeah.
A sign out front showing where they are.
Yep.
That's under the law, under Chapter 10, or under Title 10. So the number 64 square foot is the total amount that the total sign that the municipality has the right to put up.
yeah.
You know, they're not, they're not, they don't require a permit for it. It's the town, this is back when I was saying, look, wait a minute, the town don't need, this is what I was trying to say, but anyways,
So the sign that we had before was.
legal.
But I don't want to be a fighter, I don't make your blood boil.
restrict
It
it
clearly
more.
says you have to read it both ways.
Well-
So the way we had the sign originally, out-of-town sign with the school library, as you
It
go
does
by,
say
each
readable
side, you
traffic,
could see it.
yes. It does
The
say
way we had
readable
the sign, you only,
So
it's very
the
difficult.
long sign, no, that wasn't legal.
Well, thank you. That's.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the first one.
No,
The first one was the right way, the right
Yes.
configuration, because both sides needed to see it from the view.
That's
from
what I'm
both
saying.
views. Right.
And the other sign was
Right.
not, so you said it was legal. and-
Under Title,
too many signs.
under Title 10, it has language in there that says it needs to be seen from both
Both
directions,
sides.
or all directions.
With town, school, and library on it. And I actually designed up something for that sign, and I got laughed out. I mean, to save that sign, by flipping it, by
Yeah.
adding town underneath, swinging, school, library,
Right.
nobody wanted to hear it.
So all
People were
of these
sensitive
issues,
about it back then.
That was bad then.
Yeah.
that's what precipitated us to make sense of
Yes.
everything. So we decided it'd be the easiest thing to do is to adopt Title 10 for the municipality, because that's what it needs to be.
And I'm with you, and all I'm saying is, let's get,
With the
because
scenic.
we have a scenic
Right.
highway,
Right.
federal scenic highway,
Yeah.
let's get those laws in there, so we're not in conflict, because they
Right.
override anything. Unless it's strict.
So again, you know, this is just the first stage.
Yeah.
There's
No,
still
it's
has to be
good.
a public meeting.
I
for
agree
everything
with
else.
everything that you have, I don't
So-
disagree with anything. So, that, I mean, you did a good job.
We did think of anything we did not, besides the scenic highway, anything else we did.
I will take a better look at
Still
it.
don't see where
It looks
you
pretty good to
have
me.
216-foot signs
Um,
for tag sale. Okay,
You know,
but I'm thinking the golf course or Belmont's or
So you gotta
Golf course wasn't allowed
understand.
to put signs
Poppins.
up.
Huh?
Golf course wasn't allowed possible,
No.
only that one little sign,
Because it's a scenic
That's it.
highway,
even not one on the building.
right?
So the other thing is the way you,
You did say two in number.
oh, the thing you gotta understand too is that when you got a commercial, a commercial building or a commercial permit,
Right here.
you know, we are the planning commission, we have to do a site plan, site bid. That encompasses the signage, that encompasses the lighting and all of that stuff that we decide on how you're gonna put your golf course signs up or your lighting or that's the reason
Well, what
why.
Sheila's saying is they wouldn't allow them to put a sign out on Main Road, and that's because it's a scenic highway.
So actually,
That's
We're
why
not
that's-
allowed to have outside lights on either, because the neighborhood, certain.
Right, the town
people
voted
didn't want
that in, yes, that was
it. We're
set.
not allowed to have them.
Yeah, the town,
To answer you, Aldi, I think
that can
that
change
the
that.
assumption we're writing this is for a singular sign.
Uh-huh.
Except for you, if you're having a tag sale, you have multiple signs, but the town wouldn't need multiple town standard signs.
Yeah, but other businesses and stuff
That's a good point.
might want,
That's a good
Bigger
point.
signs.
so you guys got,
or multiple smaller ones.
Go ahead, Diane.
Yeah, that's a good thought.
yes,
That's a good thought.
Underneath the paragraph that says not allowed, you have flashing, oscillating, or revolving. You have flashing
I know we already
signs
have
for
them.
the school. And also, if it was ever approved for a speeding, your speed,
The state would have to approve it. We really wouldn't have to
So-
approve that.
so in other words, everything that you've just referenced comes under Title 10. All right, so that doesn't come into our local bylaws. So under Title 10, it's municipal and state. On our bylaws, you know, we have the opportunity right now, right here, to say, okay, we don't want that. I want to be able to have the golf course have a sign out there. Now's the chance, you know what I mean? We're gonna have, people coming in to give their input. This doesn't have to happen tonight or even our next meeting, but what I would suggest that we do is instead of lagging this on till next month, maybe we have another meeting in a couple of weeks, and that way we can get things done, seeing how we're missing our,
But I'm just gonna say
Leadership.
something for a little bit of blank giggles.
chicken giggles, right?
Uh-huh. This does not mean that you can go right out any time when this gets, you know, put in and put the sign out there. You still have to get a permit because it was already taken out by ZBA. And ZBA gave them the permit to put a sign in. You cannot drop what ZBA has already done.
No, nothing's
Just
gonna,
so you know, you know.
nothing's gonna change what you guys already have done. This is just, this don't get enacted until the select board
Yeah,
approves it.
yeah.
And
And
there's
even
gotta
if
be
they
a,
approve
Going
it,
forward.
there's not gonna be able to do anything different than what you've already gotten from the ZBA, because that is officially been.
Other locations, other
right,
sites, they
right,
can.
I mean, it's,
I'm just,
Other
you know,
locations, other sites, they
Right,
can,
right.
if it's approved. But what's going on right now,
Because
now, with that said, the select board could come back and, I don't know, that, I don't look at that, I don't think they
I
can.
don't
Let
think
the
anyone
ZBA, but
can
maybe they
take
can.
what the ZBA has said already.
But what
I
if,
think
what if
whatever
the
the-
town decide they want to put up another new town sign?
They'll have
It
to
would
do
go
a
from,
permit.
it would,
no, they
or
won't.
would it follow, if this is
Chapter two.
passed
Or-
through?
Doesn't matter if this
Title
comes
10.
in or not. ZBA has already written out and
But
it's
that's-
already.
So right now, we're getting into a fine line of being a conflict of interest, because we got both ZBA members here. And so we could bring that in a joint meeting or something, and get your people from the ZBA, let's get in here and let's do this right.
That's-
Let's not.
Yeah, I
argue.
hear you, Jim, and on the conflict of interest part, I understand what you're saying, but I disagree. I feel more than strong that I have the wherewithal to separate myself, to be able to function on the planning committee, and to act as a juror. And so we're talking about legislative against, you know, a process that involves judging. It's two different things.
But all the paperwork I have.
I'm not advocating
And I'm
either
just
way
stating.
on anything. All I'm saying is, if we're gonna do something, let's make sure that we have it complete and it's covering what we need. And if it turns out that under Title 10, I would suggest probably the best way to do this is put it on a warrant.
I don't think it's ready, but yeah.
No, but I mean, you will be, I mean, this is, you got the town. I'm a big advocate of anything that affects the town. And I've
Absolutely.
always said this,
Go through the.
put it out there
I
for
mean,
the
it has to
townspeople.
be
They don't
anyway.
have, we don't have to
Right.
accept it, but put it out there for the people.
But Lori, doesn't this have to go to a town meeting anyway?
Yeah.
It does not.
It's
Because
just it
You
has to be
have
a public meeting.
meeting here at the planning commission, then you listen to their,
That's different.
and it's no different than a planning commission that's warned as a public hearing.
Mhm.
And you listen to the people, decide whether you want to make any changes or move forward, you submit it to the select board.
Right.
They also have to have a public hearing, which is just a public hearing of the select board. They can listen to public comment and either kick it back to you for revisions, or they can choose to accept it. And then it becomes effective, but the people still have the ability to do a petition
To fight it.
to fight it.
All right.
And if we don't receive a petition by whatever the deadline is, then it does become effective. So
And how's that
that's
different?
the regular process, and I don't know why you'd want to change.
How's that different from what you're saying?
That's what I was saying.
Okay.
The board just get it more.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I just want to put it on the warrant, and, but there's processes with this.
But what
Let me step back here to clarify something. The select board has the ultimate say in this town. It wasn't always that way. It happened because when the gun laws tried to be changed 25 years ago, it came down to a vote. One vote won it for gun release, being able to shoot across people's property. They kept it. That's gone now. The federal government's come in and said, you can't do that anymore. But when people were trying to protect their kids or whatever, the town voted, we're not gonna mess with our gun laws. We're leaving in that you can shoot across people's property. It was insane, but that's what they did. Because the vote was so close, the select board at that time immediately said, we are gonna put an article saying we're taking the power away from the people and putting it on the select board because that vote was too close. The result of that happened. When I was chairman of the select board some 15 years ago, I still brought everything to the town. I didn't have to listen to the town, but I still brought major things. For instance, the sale of Broadbrook. Instead of giving that to the land of public trust to sell to Green Mountain, I fought that vehemently for years and years and years. As soon as I was off the board, what did they do? The select board, without going to the town, released it to land of public trust. And now one of our best water supplies that fed North Adams for 150 years is gone. So, do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll have a lot of.
I think that we should probably talk to the select board and put the power back, at least for the people to have a say. If you want to leave it with the select board, great, but that should have been brought to town meeting. When you're taking property, 50% of this town now is under Green Mountain, and I can tell you all the people who sold the land at $1.50 an acre, right? We get $30,000 a year when we should be getting $500. You want to talk about making money for this town? Keep our land and get the taxes you're supposed to be getting instead of giving it away because the Appalachian Trail runs up through there.
Well, I think this
We're
will be.
losing $500,000 a year in taxes. Come on. I mean, we're beating our brains out year after year, like with Aldenwall, 20 years of nobody paying taxes. We got it turned around. They gave away all the right of ways 5 years ago instead of bringing it to the town and saying, we want to take Old Stage Road, Old East Road up by Lori County Road.
Can we stay on task, please?
No, my point simply is because this is exactly what we're talking about. You're asking to do something without the townspeople's okay, and I'm saying.
We're not asking to do anything without the town. We know we have to have a public meeting. What we're doing tonight is introducing to you guys what we have completed already.
I
Not
have no-
completed, but we wanted you guys to read what we have so far.
I have.
And present it to a meeting as a whole.
I have no
To
issue.
see if you have any additions or subtractions, or let's discuss
So, Jim,
that
Are you
part. and
talking
then
about
we'll-
bringing it to the board as the public meeting or to the town meeting?
We'll follow the process that Lori gave me, I have a whole packet
So
here.
we have a whole board of planning commission board here that we all agree that they should be here to make any kind of.
Yeah.
This is an input meeting to a bylaw, a potential
I
bylaw.
understand.
Then we will have, once it's approved by us,
Mhm.
what we want done,
Mhm.
we will then have a public meeting.
Mhm.
We'll have Lori help us do
I
a
have a whole,
public meeting
she
or
gave me a
something.
whole packet
Yeah,
of
or
the steps, and
Lisa
many
will do it.
steps.
And so then we'll have the public meeting, and when that's done with, we'll send it to the select board saying, okay, we're all set, everything is good for here at the commission.
I understand the process and what happens in this process after 50 years of living in this town, 25 years of doing this, you get about 2 or 3 people in the public meeting.
All right, so
Then-
do you have anything else on this that you'd like to add or subtract, or?
I'd like to take it and
Yeah, I
really
think-
read it.
Okay,
I
that
think they need
sounds
time to
great.
process it, but. you know,
Can we add another meeting here, and maybe you can discuss it with Dan?
It's up to the
and-
board, yeah.
I'm good with it.
So what I put out on the table, I'd like to have some type of agreement with this board. Should we put it on the warrant if we decide, for instance, I think we're good to go other than the part about the scenic highway. I think this is good to go. Should we recommend to the select board to put it on the warrant for town meeting?
It'd
Think we
probably be
should-
wise.
I think we should wait until we get a whole board to make,
Yes,
have
I
this
agree.
discussion.
Oh, I agree, but I want to throw that out there now.
Right, which, how long do we have before we can do
Well, how
that?
many,
You only have
1,
2
2,
weeks.
3, 4, 5, we have 6
I know,
out of the
how
9.
many weeks we have left to do it?
I'm sorry, guys, I want to hear it, Lori.
You only have 2 weeks. Any petitions for warrant articles for town meeting, I have to have, not next Monday, but the Monday after.
So what you're saying is you probably should vote tonight.
So you're talking the 27th.
I can't see it from here, I would have said 26.
Next week
but-
is the 20th.
So,
So next
26,
week-
27,
We can vote
wasn't it
for-
Monday?
yes.
Should
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
everything by the 27th?
Why wouldn't you want to bring it in front of the town?
No, they're saying it.
We are, Dave.
They're saying it. but
It has to
that's
go,
why-
it's not,
Get
No, no,
the
he's,
report
there's
first.
a difference
I feel like
between
jumping
an
steps.
open meeting where 4 people show up and a town meeting where 200 people show up. That's what I'm
it
saying.
doesn't have to go to an annual meeting. They're gonna do the same thing we're gonna do. We're gonna ask for a public meeting. They're gonna come if they want to. We have public people here now that can vote, that could have input at this public meeting. Then the select board will do the same exact thing. And then they have the chance to ratify.
I understand how it goes, but nobody's listening to me.
No, I am, I just don't feel
too
like we're
much.
gonna get through it in 2 weeks' time.
Okay, that's fair.
So-
If that's what you want to do.
Whenever you think, when do you think we should have another meeting? Do you have-
Well, if we gotta go over this, we gotta find out
Right.
what, you know, when we have our next ones in February, right?
Yes.
We could meet sooner if we wanted.
Well, we're meeting before the meeting, big one out there,
Hmm.
too.
But what Lord is saying, we won't be able to get it on the warrant.
Unless it's the 27th, did you
The
say?
27th, not, it's 2 Mondays from now.
Mhm.
26,
It's on the
27.
27th.
Can you look at
So
the
how about we
date?
meet Monday?
Next week, yeah.
Let's do
Next
it.
week at
Something
something
like
like
that.
that.
I don't remember what it was.
How do you think this is going
27.
to take 64 square foot signs to be put up?
I don't think it should be put up until.
I'm just saying, I'm not making a judgment.
Oh, the town's gonna.
Ali, how do you think? the town?
If it's that
I
big.
mean, we
64
kept it without it.
64
Somebody's
feet
gonna
is
like it.
strictly for the municipality. That's all it is, that's under Title II.
How it would happen was it would. if some-
16 for regular, the regular thing.
But how it would happen, although I don't agree about the 64, I put it there because that's state law. But if the town wanted to put up a new sign, it's not like one person's gonna go out there and just do it. It would go before the select board and they would have to approve the sign.
It was the select board that did it.
Just
So what
saying.
was that?
Somebody
You're
was
saying you
instead.
think 64 is big, you
Yeah.
guys have a
So
number in your
someone-
head that you would
What do you wanna go
rather?
do that again?
I,
Well, they did 20 years ago, and it's 12 square feet,
right,
right?
I want to bring it
That
to
was-
the board
that's
to see
for
what other
your
people
yard.
thought.
That's for
Because-
your yard. That's for my yard.
if you read it carefully, it's vague, and I agree with you, but it's really the signing.
It's the select board, or the planning commission, when you come in for a commercial license,
I don't
you
know.
tell them what they gotta have.
Should be
See,
12.
here,
But I'm just saying, that's what the town decided.
as far as the town goes, 64 feet is the maximum amount. That sign, that long sign, that sign should be up here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Library should be up there.
Yeah.
64 feet is 8 by 8,
Right.
so,
8
or
by 8?
4 by 16, 4
Right.
by 6 feet, 16 feet. is
Yeah,
not
big
very
sign,
big.
that's big.
Well, yeah, well, the big block letters and,
Plus,
that's just for municipalities, that's
Right.
under Title 10 only. The general public would be subject, under our current footage, is 16, and that can be changed, it was 12. We just thought 16, because we went around, some of these guys went around in the nighttime with masks over their head and measured people's
Actually,
signs.
we do have some problems with
Been
that.
heard of.
Uh,
The church,
Yeah, I know her.
There's no problems with that, because
no, this actually, we already have some issues that were going on. Like the square footage of the church sign is 18 square feet, so it's out of code with our bylaw. And that's if you don't count where it's rounded. So the church is wrong. The
Yeah.
VERMONT sign is 15 square feet, so that's out of the 12-foot range. So already we have two signs that weren't in compliance.
did they go in front of the board?
That I don't know.
Well, that's what you have to find out.
Yeah.
They may
I'm
have
just bringing
gone
the
in front of the
information
board and-
that I got.
And the board approved it, the zoning board said, yeah, Bill, you can do it. I don't know, that was done
We didn't have
long. Bill
nothing
came
to
here
do
in
with that
1979.
We had nothing to do with that.
existing issues, or you
Yeah.
No, I know, I'm just
forward
trying to
your complaint to the AO.
No, I'm not complaining, I'm just trying to get my
No,
brain
listen,
around
you are.
how that happened,
The
so
process.
we know what's going through
Right.
it. How
Yeah,
did
it's
those
just
two
trying to
signs
understand.
get put
They
up?
probably went in front of the board. And maybe he did.
Which board?
So the church, if you look at Title 10, is part of it.
Jeff?
Well, I think it proves that the two signs that we have in town are bigger than the 12 square feet, because 12 square feet is way too small.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good
And so I
point.
think that just proves the fact that we need something bigger than 12 square feet.
Agreed.
For what? For here or for
For
everything?
the church, for the
For-
months.
For Billmont's church, that kind of
Community
idea.
center in the
Fire
future.
department?
Fire department,
If someone puts up a community center,
Yeah,
I can't
But,
think
you
of
see,
that.
that's why we're sitting here with the change in the signage being more specific, is because, like we were discussing, over cheese, good cheese
Get off
too.
that. You're teasing all of us with that.
Cheese,
Yeah.
pretty good cheese too.
Well, that's me. You bring it or
But
you're
you know
out.
what, every piece of cheese you put down, I
What
named
choice
it.
is that?
all right,
I knew what it was.
you got it.
But,
Hold you to it.
this,
Next Monday, right?
what was I, now you lost my
Sorry,
train of thought.
sorry.
Hey, she threw that cheese thing in front of you. That's what got you.
So something about the Belmont's community center.
That the other signs.
Right, so
were seen.
you gotta look at what the planning commission gave you permission to do. There's no violation until we look at the
right.
planning commission site plan review that sits in the paperwork somewhere in that safe probably, or in the filing cabinet back there.
I would
So-
just like to, okay, go ahead.
I think
Yeah.
Ron Block was the one that did
I'd like
it.
to get my hands on that.
I would
paperwork
like to
see.
just throw out the last time somebody tried to put a business in here and with signage, and that was Gene Crokiel and the driving range. Remember, they wanted to put a little, there was a diner there, but they closed it up and they needed a house. Remember when she tried to get the driving range and put up a sign? The
Yeah.
whole auditorium filled up. Lawyers came in, this one person didn't want it.
Yeah, they're gonna put a restaurant or something there, weren't they? Or-
Sounds like
Yeah, there was
that.
gonna be
It
a
was,
restaurant and then there was.
it was worse than the gun law issues.
Wow.
Lori, do you remember that? You were probably too young, you were probably in school. Like elementary school.
Well, I heard the whole story through Lawrence's and, I forgot, well, Ron, maybe, I don't know.
Weren't me.
But I mean, I was
No, it wasn't you.
part, young
Yeah.
enough to be part of that.
We
That
were
was during the
in,
Hatfield and McCoy fights.
No, you don't know,
we were in a
You never-
different room. I don't remember where.
When guns
One of
get
the
bought up, that's
classrooms we ended up
bad.
in for that meeting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
The
I'm not,
Morehouse was on there still.
The town went crazy and voted it down, that's the only thing that I'm trying to say. And was a legitimate business that I think this town needed was a little restaurant,
Yeah.
drive range, and a sign. They went nuts. They didn't want it. You remember that? I'm not making this up.
I think people are getting a little bit more open to the ideas
Well, the town's
nowadays.
changed.
Yeah,
The town's
Well, the
changed.
town
I mean,
is-
the people, half those people are dead now, and I'm not far behind.
and there's a lot of newer people here too.
That's what I'm saying.
You heard me heard that one, huh?
Half the old people that are here are gone, and you have a whole new generation, so things are open. And look at, I had to go to that guy to have this addition put on. Do you know what this place was like? That was our office right there.
That
For
wall
20 years.
across there. There was
20
none of
years.
this. That bathroom.
We put this on, we sold off the
You
wall.
go in there, you back into them.
But they
All
fought.
right, so I think that we need to just move on from this.
Yeah.
I think we need to
Next
set a date, if anyone is willing, no, that's not.
I'm done.
Any date that we can come in earlier,
Lori, do you
because it
know
would be good if we could.
Lori,
do
what's going on? Is there any more planning, or, the other ones doing their budgets and stuff?
I don't have any other budget meetings scheduled. The conservation meeting, they just did it, what, a month from now?
February.
End of February, so.
So that's the only meeting I'm aware of aside from.
Can we do it next Monday?
Yeah, if you, yeah, I mean,
There's no
room's
school.
available.
Does that matter?
21st.
Am I here? You're not.
20th is Luke.
You're not. Well, I'm.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have any, it's a holiday.
I'm
Yeah,
getting.
I have to.
I mean, we have a quorum
Wednesday.
now, let's, we can just hope that Pete and Dave and Dave.
Yeah, I mean,
Dave Tatros is a crapshoot getting him in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
we have enough to vote on this now, and I guess the question becomes, do we want to, again, bring it to a
Vote
vote?
what? What do you want to vote?
Dave,
Or.
I appreciate what you're saying, but I do think needs some changes. I do think they need
Right, what are you
some
looking to
input
vote
and some
on?
changes.
Oh, yes, they do, and I have to bring some of them in, but I'm just
So what do
saying.
you want to vote on?
There's nothing to vote on.
We know we're gonna make changes, and we know it's gonna go to, I'm just saying, Lauren says we have 2 weeks to get it, but I think we can make those changes in time.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens if we meet next Monday. How's that?
We won't have
let's meet
time
next
next Monday,
Why not?
because we just won't have time to get it in
You won't?
for the warrant.
Then you
Well,
have
there's
one
another
more
week.
after Monday.
No, we have
No,
another
2
week.
weeks.
Hold on a
Just
week.
run-
Laurie, do you think we can get it in if we have a meeting next week?
I don't know.
Yeah, I know how these things go. So, I guess we'll just accept the fact that it's only gonna go to
Well, I'm
an
looking at Lauren
open.
because I haven't been around long enough to know.
It's hard to get stuff in.
Laurie, we don't have enough time to do
Well, I mean, if,
It's a lot of work on it.
to have it put, if the select board has a choice to do it or not do it, if there's a petition signed by 5% of the people, they have to put it on. So, you've got 2 weeks either to pull together a petition, or maybe hope the select board will just do it, but you're not prepared with a full presentation to get them to do it. So I don't know what to say.
I think I'm a little bit lost. That's not,
You're not alone.
yeah.
We know that.
So, we need to do a public hearing.
Which is totally different than what he's talking about.
So in order for it to come out of the planning board,
Yep,
we have to have a vote on it, and then we have to have public input.
yes.
Then we have to send it to the select board.
If you do that process, you do not have time.
So that's what I'm saying, can we wait and have a meeting Monday night,
Yeah.
and then you'll have, why would be we're not in a hurry to do this.
Only if you want to present it to the town.
So-
As 200 people. Because we're talking about signs, we're talking about a very sensitive issue in this town. And I'm telling you, we can do it the way you're talking, Jim. We do things like that all the time. But signs in this town,
Or your warrant on the town meeting.
But I think
mark
this,
my words.
I think this benefits the town. I think this is gonna be good for the town.
Okay.
It's gonna take the,
I just want the people that
More
be
than
able to.
our opinion.
Jen, what did you want to say?
well, I know that, but
I just think that
takes the
if we take the opportunity to
maybes out of it.
actually like let everybody know that on this planning commission day, we're going to sit down and do this. I think more people will come compared to just the piece of paper that gets put up at Belmont.
What do you mean
That
by
nobody
letting people
sees.
know?
Like, put, you know, like instead of, like, give people more than 5 days. Kind of give them
Notice
2
out
weeks
on the-
or 3 weeks, so that
But
everybody
still
can just talk to
paper?
everybody. What?
But still just the posted notice, I don't understand what you're saying.
Well, I'm just saying, if you, I don't think many people see that piece of paper out there or at Belmont's in time to get to a meeting.
Yeah, we have to put.
So if we give it to the point, if you guys give it, like, say, 2 meetings from now, we're going to do this, that gives the public enough time to understand that this is what's going on, and everybody can start talking about it, and then people can come. Because, you know, things have changed compared to what they used to be, and I think that, you know, we are getting the word out about what's going on in our town
Right.
more than we were before.
Right, much better.
So I just think
Yeah,
if
Stamford
we give it
Planning.
more time.
Yeah, internet's been very.
Lori, how much does it cost to send out a mailer?
Say this here?
How much does it cost to
Send
send
it
out a
as a
mailer?
mailer? I don't know, I haven't
What?
done it. Like, it's what, 70,
I guess like a bit
70
drastic.
something cents per letter, and you would really only have to send it to registered voters.
To me, a mailer just
We
seems
can,
like a drastic
we can
thing
take this
for
the
a
standard
sign.
way that
bylaw.
Jim is doing it. I'm just talking from my own personal experience, being on these boards and being in this town.
But I don't, why can't you ask Lori what the process would be, how it could be accomplished to get to the town meeting? to be-
Yeah, I'm waiting,
And-
yeah, I'm all
And
ears.
what's the rush?
So you have,
Why does it have to be done in 2 weeks?
Just that you have a big consensus.
To put it on the
I'm not talking about
warrant.
2 weeks, I'm talking about the
It's
warrant.
almost
There'll be another warrant.
next year.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity to get on now.
Maybe.
I feel like it's just too much of a rush to get it on for the town meeting. I appreciate that what you're saying is that it's the better way, but given that
I just think.
it's not fully baked, I get it, but, so
I
then,
don't
to do it that
think- I
way,
don't
we would have
think
to
you
wait
do.
a whole other year. So those are our 2 options.
Yeah.
I don't think it's enough time now to do it well, to do it properly, to have everybody really go through it with a fine tooth comb, etc. I agree with Jed that we should absolutely publicize it like crazy on Stamford Informed, you know, all the ways that we can to have the best version of that public meeting, which I agree with you, it's not gonna be anything like town meeting. That's a given, you're absolutely right. But it's just like we're between.
A rock and a hard place, and I understand.
Exactly.
Please understand also that even if you bring it to town as a warrant article, all you're doing is giving the people the right to have a say on it. The select board still can come and do what they want to do.
Right.
So it's almost, all I'm saying to you is, you see
Now
how
they
these
can.
meetings are,
All right.
people come in and go crazy
Let's
and
hear from
stuff.
Lori.
Go ahead.
Why don't we just put these in the new books that are going out to everybody?
Let's hear what Lori has to say.
well, my question is, this is a change to the bylaws, but unless you're trying to say this is like addendum 7.1 and it redacts this, you basically can't just say here. You need to present a new bylaw and basically say the only thing right now we're changing is, you know, section 7 on signs, but it's a whole new bylaw that would be signed new and have a new date, and there's way more work than just
Right.
this.
Right.
But yes and no, we are sort of amending the sign bylaw, but we're also moving it. So does that make it a new bylaw if we move it?
Put draft on
You're
this.
gonna update your bylaw.
I'm sorry, what?
You're gonna revise or update your bylaw with these changes.
Right.
So you basically, I mean, even if the first 32 pages are not gonna change, you're gonna have to make 33 and renumber all the rest. It's gonna have to be labeled a draft. You know, that information is gonna have to go to the people. It's a lot to do in 2 weeks.
It's a lot.
I mean, I know what Dave is saying, it's nice to have the people's input.
Right.
The hard part is, if the people say we want this, and then the select board says we're gonna do that, now it creates,
More
Hard
problems.
It's kind of a no-win
Difficult.
situation, unfortunately.
That's why I still would say put draft across here, a draft across here, and have it put out with our, books for our big meeting.
Do that as a warrant article, but Lori's saying that the process is involved. Listen, I'm game to have it run through a select board. We can do it that way, as long as people know what we're doing and they'll see it here on the film, and they have an opportunity to get input. So we can't do any more than that. I was only suggesting, based on my experience in this town, that when you start making changes, people come up with a book.
I respect everything, everybody is requesting. This is good, we're looking out for the people in Stamford, and that's what our job is. We're not individuals, we're not making changes by ourselves.
No.
We're doing it as a board and as a town. So what I would suggest is let's make a date for next Monday, 6 or 7, 6:30, 7, 6. I like
But
6.
don't worry, does it have to be 16 days for the?
Is everybody okay with 6
I
o'clock?
haven't looked at it. If that's what
I
it's,
think that's what it says here.
I mean, if you
Seven's
guys,
fine, but-
I like 7, that's all.
you guys wanna be able to fine tune it exactly
I
like,
go to bed at 7,
like
I'm
June has some changes. You wanna be able to have a final to have ready for that public hearing.
Yeah, which is
So-
not happening.
So this is what I suggest, and I appreciate wanting it to get to the annual meeting, but the law requires us to do this specific ways. Bringing it to the annual meeting on a warrant is above and beyond, which is a good thing to be in this life we're in,
So stop saying.
in this business. But we don't have to do it that way, but what I would suggest is what Sheila said, and have the whole thing typed out as an addendum, like Lori said, addendum to the bylaws, draft,
Draft is
and hand this out at the annual meeting to every single person there, and make a mention,
Yeah,
try to make a notification, somebody will go up to
That's a good idea.
the pulpit, and
They're covering it both ways.
That's
and then
great. I love
let's
that.
do it this way, and then, because ultimately the select board can say yea or nay anyway.
Absolutely.
So
But
I
at
think
least
that would be
They're
the,
giving the people
compromise.
the
I like it.
opportunity.
yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep,
Make sure
I'm
the word
agree.
draft is on, because
Correct.
otherwise we're gonna get.
So do you want to make a
So
motion
once,
to,
Monday at 7 o'clock.
oh, okay, I was just going to say make a motion to have this process go through,
We can do that too.
yeah.
Go through what?
Instead of the town meeting, to do what Jim suggested, I'd make a motion to, let's get through this the best that we can, and then have something ready for town meeting for people to see, and then have an open meeting afterwards,
Okay,
once the select.
So the motion is to finalize the draft?
No, the motion is to follow the procedure that we normally follow, and not bring it to town meeting.
I put draft on there.
Yeah, I would say present
I
the,
heard,
I'm just
Not
making
warrant.
sure
present the
Not as a warrant
signed.
article.
I'm just confused what the actual motion is.
So we want to present the signed bylaw
The draft of the signed bylaw.
in draft,
At town
716,
meeting?
whatever it is.
No, not a town meeting.
No, that's not what you said.
No,
Okay.
no, no, what I'm trying to say is instead of making it a warrant article for town meeting, we will follow the normal course of action
Right.
with our changes at town meeting, so
Right.
people can see what we're doing, so they can come to the meeting thereafter. And
Yeah.
that's the normal procedure.
I don't really think we need
You don't need a motion for that?
because that's what we're going to do anyway. That's our mandate.
So we're just
Any-
carrying on.
Okay.
So we're going to carry on with the meeting next Monday at 7 p.m. Sound like I'm a character.
Okay, and Dave will bring things on scenic highway that might
I don't
impact.
want to be so bold.
I'll bring the things that I
Diane,
think.
and
Go ahead.
Dave's
Get my
bring-
permission. Bad
Yeah,
damage.
she's done,
Oh.
yeah. No,
Do we
I'll-
want to address this idea of 64 feet next week?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
let's everybody-
discuss.
Yeah, you're gonna be looking at a lot of things
We'll discuss
in
it.
regards to, all I'm saying is the state highway saying it has to be put in there.
We need to get
Yeah.
Dave here too for that number
Oh, he's
because,
on the board.
I know, so,
Well, yes, but he's also
But he's also
He's in the
plowing.
middle of plowing too, so
So
I'll talk to Dave if he can't make it, at least I'll get his
I will,
input.
I will drop off a copy of this to Dave, so he has it, because he doesn't have email, as far as I know. Right,
Yeah,
Lori?
he does.
He's got email.
He's got a
Does he
cell
have a box
phone, he's
here?
got email,
Does he check
email.
it, like,
Give it out.
okay.
Where's Peter and Dan?
Here, is it work emergency? And I don't know where Dan is.
Okay.
Okay,
I thought
moving
maybe
on.
I had some of
Okay,
them.
Lori, can I give this to you, honey? I don't know where he is, that's all.
Otherwise, you guys did a good job.
Yeah, I think you did an
But I
excellent
just,
job.
you know, you gotta have other ones in here.
Oh.
Poor Lori, is
Yeah.
trying to be an audience member.
So, and then we'll, then next week we'll figure out, we'll comply or a letter,
Yeah, this is what we want
The
to do.
townspeople.
Yeah,
And there's gonna be a public meeting to address all these
Right.
things.
Maybe by then we can have, at least have a public meeting date
Yep.
and time, put it right on the letter. And
And we need to get 15 days
So-
notice for the public hearing.
From
Okay.
whenever you.
It's not
you-
5 days, it's 15 days. We need to get the public
Right.
notice.
okay. Well, maybe next
So we can call an
Monday.
emergency meeting.
Well, next
It's not
Monday,
an emergency.
Yeah, it is. We can call it an emergency because we need to get the information out so we can get it, a public hearing before the.
You can.
You could have your public hearing like in early April and announce it in March or the end of March.
Right.
And then everybody at town meeting has got the date.
Yeah,
Great.
right.
Okay.
Okay, like
So
that.
you
that'll
have
give you some
papers
time.
already made out and they're on the table, people go take things, so it's something they'll have to remember that this meeting is coming, other than getting the loudspeaker, kick your butt down there. You know?
So next Monday, it should go pretty quick. We'll just finalize the bylaw
Yeah,
and then we'll build from that.
sounds good.
okay.
Can we go on to this BCRC
Yes,
letter?
okay, so the next thing, oh, letter, is that what's next? Is it? Well, that was the only thing on here. Just quickly, if I can bring up the BCRC meeting that's coming up. I'm not sure if Dan and Deb are actually our representatives. It's hard to tell because the town website, and if you go on the BCRC site, it lists both of them. But then in communication with Bill Colvin, is it Bill Colvin, I think, or Andy, or one of them, seems to think it's just Deb, so I don't know. We need to ask the select board who our representatives are.
They're supposed to be.
It's Dan, I think.
I don't
It's
know if
supposed to be Dan and
And Deb.
Deb.
Yeah.
Sometimes the select board just automatically appoints everyone on the slate. Last year, they said in a letter ahead of time, if you'd like to be reappointed, let us know. And then anybody who didn't respond did not get reappointed,
So
so
I think
there
we're
was a
just down to
vacancy.
Deb. I think because the
It's just
emails that
Deb.
we're getting from BCRC are just Deb.
Yep.
So we need to worry about that. We need to talk
Is
about
that
Dan
one vote
about.
or two?
Pardon?
Do we get one vote or two?
We get two, we have an
Two
alternate
representatives.
representative and a representative.
Two representatives?
Yes, one's an alternate,
So you only get one vote.
I believe. I'm not, don't quote me on that. But they have a meeting coming up on the 16th that I would like to attend, at least through Zoom. Because they're gonna
I
be,
nominate Lisa to be our,
well, it could be Dan.
Alternate.
It could be Dan. I think Dan wants to be
We
the alternate.
can't do that.
Alternate, but
So-
no, it's a select board thing.
oh,
But
They've
we need
already
to
did
talk to Dan, because I think he thinks he's in still.
He is it.
But he's not in, because he didn't answer his letter when the select board
He
sent
didn't
out.
get appointed in March.
So we only have Deb. but
He was there at the last meeting and
Yeah,
voted.
anybody can
Did
go to
anybody
meetings.
go?
And
Did
voted.
he vote?
According to him, he did.
I'm not sure if he voted. but
Yeah,
I don't think the
You
BCRC
didn't get
recognizes him as one of our representatives.
but I mean, anybody can go to those meetings,
But to
that's on the
vote,
board.
we need to clarify that issue,
What's it,
For sure.
what does that have to do?
because there's a meeting on the 16th coming up, and somebody needs to be there. I'm gonna be going to it. I don't think it's a voting situation, so it doesn't matter, but they're gonna be talking about the Bennington County Regional Plan and the public, addressing the public.
And that's what this letter's addressing. Right,
What letter?
this
this,
letter
If you
on
do that, too.
women.
about the windmills.
Oh, I don't think I gave it to anybody.
Oh, how come? I thought we were gonna.
That already
Well, no,
went,
two
that
different-
already voted, that
No,
went
two
through.
different, all right,
All right, go ahead.
two different thoughts. The BCRC is holding a meeting on the 16th to discuss getting input from the public on the regional plan that just passed in mid-November, mid to late November. I want at least I will go to it, at least if I'm there at Zoom.
Okay.
Anybody else that can, that's great, because I want to know what they're going to want to hear our input. We also, on a separate issue, have to clarify that Steve and Deb, if not, we need an alternate so that people can go and vote and represent our town. We need to clarify that somehow with the select board. That's all I want to say about that, so everyone's aware. I can send you the date of that meeting. It's on the 16th, but I can send it to everybody if you want to zoom in.
Yeah.
We were well represented in the
Okay.
last
Yeah,
meeting,
right.
so.
Why don't you set, because the 16th is select
Select
board.
board. Right, so Jed will be filming the select board and I'll be doing the
Okay,
BCRC.
okay.
So what time is it, Monday?
Let's see, sorry, I didn't.
No, that's fine. You just send me an email, don't worry
Yeah, I'm
about
not sure, I have to, it's.
it. Or you'll send me an email.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get, I don't know, so I'll try to get on.
Okay, I'll send what I got to everybody, it doesn't have a time on
They
here.
don't, you see, ever see this, it's a lot, maybe it's
Well, all right, and so now we move on to Dave's letter, so also BCRC.
Don't say it's my letter, or it is.
Well, the Conservation Commission has been working on a letter to send to the BCRC in regard to the siting of turbines on the Pacific Range. We would like to hopefully,
Thought they got shot down.
well, no.
What happened?
In the new BCRC plan, albeit it names Stamford and it names the Pacific Range as a
Yeah.
prime location, so we're not happy with that. So it's still, as they pass the new BCRC regional plan, it's still, our town is named in it.
It
So
says,
Did we send a letter?
we're working on that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We're working on a letter, so right now the Conservation Commission wrote a letter that we would like to send to
Wanna read it?
BCRC,
That's what I got.
which you have in front of you.
I'll have it back, you wanna read it?
It's a lot of papers.
Read it back.
what's that?
I want it
Did we
back.
not have
That's the one
that?
up on the hill?
Yeah,
I want it back.
Somebody
I
need
made
a copy?
copies.
Oh, 2 pages?
Does anybody need a copy?
2 pages?
This is what we did
That's what
back
I can read back,
in,
that's what we were
this
talking
is
about,
in-
that's what she's telling me
when we
about.
told them no here and yes up there.
I'm digging
right,
up
but they went and put it in their regional plan
Did it.
Right.
in writing. So I said, at that time during the meeting, that the Conservation Committee, the Planning Commission, should let them know that we're not happy about that. Because what happens when stuff gets into writing, and they've done that now you're gonna be fighting. You're gonna have to have all the data, so if we document it, that we don't agree with them, that, you know, we did the town plan and the energy plan 4 years ago stating that Green Mountain National Forest, north end of town, is the best wind location, and next to
It's
the.
being redundant in a way, but they ignored our town
Yeah,
energy
they
plan when
ignored-
they wrote the new regional plan.
Yeah.
So
That's a problem.
we just want to address it again in writing. And we're
Right.
hoping, the Conservation Commission is hoping that the Planning Commission will all sign on as well.
So Jim,
What?
when we had our meeting right here, and we did this,
Did what?
the plan, the town plan, the energy
Yes,
thing back in, what, 5 years ago?
yeah.
19.
Been a while.
2019, when I asked. It was pretty much done, but you guys finished.
Well, BCRC does most of it anyways, but I'm just saying, we had input as to what locations we wanted and what locations we didn't. And the wind, we pointed out up there behind me. That way.
Way
Way.
over.
No.
In fact, we were pretty specific,
No, Green Mountain International Forest is where.
But that's up by him.
so that's never mentioned.
I'm bad with geography, is that
Yeah.
yes? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
he's next to Green Mountain National. We're talking about the other side of the mountain.
so when we were specific to the fact that, yeah, the Green Mountain abuts my property, but you do too, right?
Yeah, I
So-
guess, I don't have, you found my weakness.
Yeah, right. So from my house, I can walk into Bennington
Yeah,
without hitting the road.
yeah.
Anyways, I'm just saying, it's like, we were specific, that's what we wanted,
Right,
and we don't wanna see it.
right.
So it was gonna be at least 2 or 3 bridges back.
Yes,
This was a no-no.
right?
And then they sat here and said specifically, okay, you'll have a seat at the table because this is what we're doing now.
That's why we did the energy plan.
Right, that's why we did the energy plan, so that we would have a seat at the table when the decision was
Prove
made.
around
So
the-
we must have had a seat at the
difference.
table for 5 years, it must have been a,
We have, and that's
The
why.
problem
And
is, in
then
the
they
regional
change it.
meeting, they changed it, and it's wrong.
my
and-
point is that we've had the same people, Dave, represent us at the town, at the regional commission meetings since then.
No, Jim Sullivan left.
No.
The people
Dan was
here.
on that board back then.
Right. But the issue is, unless you put it from the boards
Right.
and the select board, it's not gonna have any teeth. We need to get it documented.
Our energy plan still says the same thing, though.
Yes,
Ours is still in
but-
effect.
But we only get
Right.
substantial difference.
But
They're
they look at the
paying us.
regional plan, so all these big windmill companies coming in, they don't care about.
They
our
still have to,
land.
they still have to come here and sit at the table.
I understand, but what's wrong with saying, look, we did all this work, and you're saying the BCRC, I disagree with that. I was in 50 meetings over 2 years doing the regional plan, and I mean, the town plan twice, and the energy plan before I went out, before the group was, you came in that time, that plan was pretty much done, and then I got started all over again.
Okay.
But it's fine.
Okay, but so the point of this letter and the point of everything that's happened before that you just described, that you were part of as well, has been
Changed.
literally, railroaded by the
Right.
new BCRC.
Right.
So this letter, which the only thing for me that's missing in this letter is the distance from people's homes, because that is also,
That's been changed.
that is also just
They dropped it down
insane.
to a half mile.
Yeah,
Kilometer.
that's
Yeah.
craziness,
Yeah.
that's craziness.
And
So I'd like
understand.
to see that added, and I would like to see the entire, the Conservation Committee, 100% for it, but I would love to see also that the planning, you're right, let's put the muscle of
Our town.
all the, boards of our town
Right.
are opposing this.
It's on the historic register, you can have, the big
Yeah,
hero
it's
of
good points,
Bennington.
right.
I mean,
Well,
I agree, Margaret, it's missing the half.
scenic highway, you
It's-
can't fool with the ridge lines, Massachusetts, right on the
Right,
line.
right. Well,
And
and
we never
they
did
feel
anything to
like,
stop it.
they feel like it's already there, whatever.
Of course,
when you
the
move
road's
it up,
cut
so
up
it's
there,
right
they had it
there.
on Reed's Road.
What's the big deal?
Right.
So,
These big companies are, you gotta understand the engineering part of it. They got, wind meters
Mhm.
throughout the Green
Mhm.
Mountains,
Yeah.
in the woods, all
Yeah.
right? They had one up on top
Yeah.
where the windmill was gonna go, the turbine was gonna go. There was one up there for over a year.
Mhm.
And it basically, it registers the wind speeds and the consistency of the wind and what months are the best and so on and so forth.
Right.
But in the entire state of Vermont, the two best places to put turbines is right up there and right over there.
Mhm.
In Vermont,
Mhm.
the entire state. So, I don't know. And I've also heard from a gentleman that works up at the big one up on. what's that?
Searsburg?
Is that Deerfield?
Yeah, Searsburg.
The wind turbines.
Yeah.
He's a big engineer up there. He said that they've outlawed the 400 footers now. And so the governor now is slashing all kinds of different stuff through the state.
yeah.
So that's all happening anyways. They don't like wind now. Things have changed drastically. So, and I'm just saying,
It
Well-
can't hurt to cover our bases.
Yeah, but what
I think we have to be
because
proactive. is the
I had the
plan.
Green Mountain National Forest near 20 years ago asking the board to allow, they had the plan, Go right across the mountain, and they did, except for us.
Lori?
And I said to Green Mountain, we allowed that land to be sold before me, and now you're going to put a road up there and industrialize the mountain, it's a scenic. They walked away, we never heard from them. Because the Green Mountain National Forest will not go against a town, ever.
And they also want to put turbines in the Green Mountain National Forest.
Well, that's why
The Appalachian.
I think we shot ourselves in the foot when we did that,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
The Appalachian Trail is there,
Didn't
you're
get
never
one.
gonna get anything in there anyways.
No,
Lori?
that's what's all up there. I knew we weren't gonna be able to do that, and we shot ourselves in the foot when we did that.
I don't think we did because we have 50 windmills around us right now. And if you go into Massachusetts, you got, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Laura.
That's okay, that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm
go
just a
ahead,
visitor. My question was if you were looking to send 3 letters, like conservation letter, planning commission letter,
No.
select board letter, and bombard them, or are you hoping all 3 boards will?
3 boards sign off on
One
it.
letter.
We're looking at
Signed by
unified
everybody.
fronts,
Yes,
but we're looking to have a unified front.
yes.
Unless anybody thinks it would be stronger to send 3 separate. I
No.
think they just get
I think
irritated
You
with us.
just,
so
you
that's-
just have on the bottom, planning, conservation, and select board, right on the bottom, and have the key, probably, the chairs for each, you know.
Mhm.
But if you have the 3 committees saying, you know, we took
I mean,
5 years
talking
to
about,
do this,
if we
you
talk
know?
about the buffer, however, this letter all is about, specifically about Stamford and the scenic highway, and this is all about Stamford. If we talk about the buffer, you're talking about the whole state.
Right.
So we're getting into a little bit of a different issue if we include the
Why?
buffer in
Because-
that letter.
I don't think we talked about the buffer.
No, we
but-
don't, but Marta,
Hey, take this.
Yeah.
Marta mentioned that
Can I
it
give that back?
doesn't mention the buffer.
Yeah, it doesn't, it just really kind of addresses
I'm
them
just wondering
putting
if
it
we
in
should,
the wrong
We'll change
location.
it, we
I'm
might as
just
well
wondering if
make
we
it
should include
200
the
miles.
buffer. The
The buffer.
I feel like we should, because just in case,
Yeah, we outlined
just
it,
in
right?
case, yeah, just
We
in
outlined
case
it.
they,
That's what was voted on, so
and
why?
that's another scenario in which they have changed the
Right.
terms.
The dynamics. yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're, you know, and then they do that sort of clever thing of saying, well, it's not a
It's under
mandate.
consideration.
It's under consideration, but it's in writing now, and that means that we have to address it by writing
Right,
what we
Yeah.
feel,
yes.
okay.
I mean, I just
Do you
think,
feel like this is the appropriate place to mention the buffer?
Yes.
I think so.
we put in a mile, if they agreed upon it, he said, a little over a mile, right? There's a little, I forget, yeah.
Okay, I make a motion that we amend the Conservation Commission's letter to include a
buffer.
paragraph about
The original buffer
Great.
of 1 kilometer.
I'll second that.
addressing the buffer.
Right. I would
Second
put,
that.
I would be very specific with the land says, it says 1 kilometer.
Right. And we can work on that with
Yeah.
the conservation and bring it back.
Great. And then, once we have that done, let's bring it to
The select board.
the select board.
Well, they
Once
have to
this
then agree.
board approves it,
Okay.
Okay,
Has to agree first.
okay, great.
because we don't have all the numbers.
Right, so we will rework it in the Conservation Commission, or else Dave and I can do what we were doing before and just, we can work on it, continue, is that?
It isn't much of a change. I mean,
Yeah, just that,
Yeah.
sentence or two. And then we'll bring it to the next planning commission meeting, maybe next Monday, just to get
Oh,
it,
yeah.
just to get it.
Understand, this was 4 pages long.
Yeah.
That's when I did it.
Yeah,
So we'll just
I chopped it
just
out.
add that in, and the next Monday, we can look at also this letter and just get that on the move, so we're not kicking
Covered
cans.
everything. It was
Great.
So,
It's too
it
comprehensive.
was too complicated.
yeah,
Okay,
amazing.
any other business?
Let's see, I don't think this, it does kind of concern the planning commission.
All right, so you already had that letter, then you can give you guys mine.
Yeah, the conservation committee, you weren't there, we were addressed to research water in the town.
Oh, yeah, I
And
saw
I
that.
just wanted, I think the planning commission should also,
That has been forwarded to everybody.
I'll be part of that. I've done quite a bit of work and we have a couple sources.
Dave did send us a link to do, that goes over, it's pretty, simplistic.
I got to read the first page.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's
it takes all the bull
long.
crap out and everybody's this, that.
It's very
It's into-
simple to read, but, so just everybody does have a link to that booklet in their
Great.
emails now. If you
Great.
want to just look it over, because I think we should, put on the
Let's talk
agenda.
about that next
week.
session, yeah.
Put on the
I
agenda
just
about
wanna make
water.
everybody aware of this one.
For conservation?
Yeah,
No,
conservation.
for planning commission.
Oh.
Both boards got the link, but I think we need to talk about water next meeting here.
Yeah,
Protect broad.
yeah, there you go. Stamford has a lot of water, but we're giving it away rapidly.
And I feel like if we don't address it soon, it's just gonna be something that, I mean, I came across minutes that Kurt was, I was searching something online, and he brought up old minutes from 2022, and Kurt was talking about this in 2022, almost verbatim.
Right.
So I'm really, that's dismaying that we've been talking about it for that long, and now we're in 2025, and we still haven't changed a thing.
I brought this up in 2002.
Well, here we are.
And open up the minutes of the meeting, Bill Morehouse ripped my head right off my shoulders saying, I'll break the town. Trying to put a water system in. That's Bill, not trying to put a water system in. I'm trying to protect. You'll break the town if you put a sewer system in. If we can get water down now, that takes care of the sewer problem.
Well,
Right.
let's come
Oh, yeah.
ready to talk about water.
Yeah, water
We
comes
look
down
over
and wash
that.
it away.
North Adams has a pipe that fed the town for 100 years that we could have tapped into, that we sold Broadway and gave it away.
Okay, so.
Well, I think, one thing, I think we can ask the Green Mountain National and the state to lease back that water for this town, for a buck. I'd look a little
Okay,
bit.
all right, well.
So there's something, I don't quote me on that, but I'm just saying, there seems to be a way that we can get our water back.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
So
I do have one question, put it under new business or whatever
Yeah.
else. But the water, when you guys are talking about water, some concerning information that's been kind of like, I'm calling it in the gospel, or gossip stage.
Yeah,
Gospel. We'll wait and see if it's gospel.
Yeah.
But there's sewer lines going into our rivers.
yes, everywhere. I brought that up to you, right?
What is it?
Oh, hey, Jim, your comment to me. I saw your excavator in that swamp over there. My comment to you was, yeah, because everybody shits.
Okay,
I have line after line in that field. I'm not being smart, I'm just
Yeah.
I'm going into the river.
No, I'm
Going
just,
into the river.
I'm very, like, that's really,
But for this north branch of Cruz going all the way up to Reed, I mean, that's what they did, the farmers,
yeah,
right?
but they don't have to do it anymore.
They don't do it.
it wasn't that the issue with the church, why the
Well,
town didn't buy it?
it's
So-
happening now, that's what
Yeah.
They
everybody's telling me.
shouldn't, no, nobody's dropping sewer lines into the
I
river.
thought they all stopped.
If they
30 years
do,
ago.
That's what I was,
there's a major
that's what I was
fine.
told.
Sewer
Some of the
lines are
older,
still going down.
old timers that are here in the town have told me
They're-
different.
Illegally, then.
Sure.
Illegally.
Sure.
Well,
Really? You know.
what is the
I see it in
way,
your house.
It needs to stop.
what is the way to then address that? Like,
Put in a septic system.
I would send all your complaints to the Conservation Commission.
great, thanks.
Well, that's why I brought up the
Well, the
public
health
septic,
officer.
septic tank, because that addresses it.
Okay,
Now people have to expose themselves.
no new business outside of that?
Now it's good meeting, good job,
Okay.
guys.
So we're meeting next
Good job.
Monday at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
What have you written?
Second?
Second.
Aye.
She got it.
I,
All right. All right, good meeting, got a lot of fun, thank you. Yeah,